Welcome everyone. Today I have a special Christmas present for you guys. So Merry Christmas to everyone, and over here we have a special guide into looking at how much spirit is better versus getting additional minion levels. So what you can see behind me is I have made a bit of notes and also additional summary coming from testing a variety of different minions with the summons, and also what happens when you increase the reserve of spirits and what happens when you increase their levels. And we'll be looking into this dynamically into this Excel. So this Excel, this will look at your current spirit, and this will look at your additional bonus spirit coming from additional gears. Should you have additional spirit or should you have less spirit, this will tell you how much less damage you have, or this will tell you how much more damage you will have by having more spirit. At the same time, I have also made some calculations to show you how much additional damage you get from getting additional one level of spirit or one level of gems and getting additional level of gems. So notice that this gem went from level 29 to level 31. You can see the summaries over here of getting one level or two levels, and I have used the snipers and also arsonists for a better example. So how to use this guide is that you can use this Excel to dynamically put your own values. And I show you guys over here, those are my own values at the moment for my character, and I can see what damage I can gain from level 1, from getting one level of the gems for my skills of minions, or getting more spirit. And at the same time, I have made a medium form of spirit for you guys, or a lower spirit. And we have summary notes over here, should you want to, instead of using the Excel, you can look at the notes to have a better understanding. So coming over to this Excel, let me briefly explain how this works and how you can use this. So firstly, if you want to use any of my Excels, make sure you click the links below in the video and then click File and click Make a Copy. Once you made a copy like this will allow you to edit the Excel yourself, because sometimes players might not be able to edit Excel because it's shared only. Once you go to Files, make a copy guys, and then you can change the values. And then according to your spirit, let's say if currently I'm on 350 spirit, I'm looking at a chess piece that will give me 370 spirit. You put those values in, this Excel will first calculate, are you getting additional summons by getting those spirit? And by the looks of it, you can, because you can see that the Storm Mages are getting 1, the Frost Mage are not getting any plus, and the Arsonists are not getting additional more summons just with 20 spirit. And you can see this first part. So you can see how much increase of spirit will happen to your build and also your character. And this is dynamically adjusted because you can change the values accordingly. So this is the first part I want to make for you guys. So now that you can see that by having additional spirit, this will increase my change of the number of units, which will translate into additional damage by about 13%, 8%, or 10%, depending on whatever units you're using for your main unit. And if you're using the snipers or the arsonists, we have more data over here. But if you're using the mages or ravers, this is actually very similar. So how did I come to those values? Well, it's quite easy. So basically, I counted those values over here. You can see the reserve for the snipers are 22, and I wrote 22 over here. Now, do keep in mind, the snipers are quality 20. This means they have 10% reduced reservation. And this is also the case for the Frost Mage, which have 10% reservation reduction. Other than that, you can see those two are lower. The other two does not enjoy this benefit, and this is why the reservation is a little higher. Now, if you're using those pairs of boots over here, and this will be a factor, but I haven't done the calculation for those boots, but it is very similar. So I can do the numbers over here, but I don't assume everyone's using those pair of boots. So I'm just using normal boots for the spirit calculations, but you can see the same values as well. So the assumption is that you're getting 20% for those gems, and also you have 6 linked those gems, which won't matter if you have 5 links, it is the same calculation for the reservation. So now that you know how to change the values, then let's have a look at the comparison. What I want to know is, have a look at this particular amulet. This is a +2 amulet plus 40 spirit. And if I move my head a little bit, you can see that if I change with this amulet, which is a +3 minion skills, I want to know which is better, at least at my level of the build. So currently 574, if I change those two, I'll lose 1 minion level, but I'm on 610. So let me use my particular character sheets as an example over here onto this sheet. So I put 574, 610, and those are the changes because of the spirit. But I do lose 1 level of my minions. So coming over to have a look at the second part over here, you can see that my snipers are currently level 29. I purposely got an arsonist at level 24 because this seems to be a threshold breakpoint, which I'll explain to you guys on the second part about those, which seems to be giving us more damage if you level the minion gems even higher. So the current DPS without +1 is 9820. I'll zoom in a little bit. So 9820 and also 1817. Keep that in mind. So if I increase my gem level by 1, what I'm doing over here is, I'll show you guys. So I am adding 1 gem over here. So this is level 29. I'm adding 1 gem over here just to check the DPS over here. And this is the numbers I get. So by adding 1 level to my skeleton snipers, I have gained 13% damage in terms of DPS. This is also the case when I add 1 more level to the arsonist, and I gain 17% DPS. Now this is quite interesting, because there seems to be a threshold breakpoint around level 25. So 24 to 25 gave me about 17% increase of DPS. And if you guys are not sure what I mean by over here, let me show you guys over here. So look at the DPS over here, it is 863. Sometimes it changes randomly on like 50 or something. So if I put the Fire Mastery in, notice that this goes to 2128. So those are some of the numbers over here, but at times it goes from 1817 to 1848 or 1856 you saw over there. So the minimum I saw when I'm stationary is 1817, and hence you can see the damage over here. So what's happening is, if you increase the level by 1, you can see the potential changes. It is around 13%. Let's just use that as rough estimation. Now, after that, if we have a look at the next part, what you can see is, if I were to increase the level of the gems by 2, so I can socket 2 in, let's get this one, and also let's get this one. So if I socket 2 of the gems in, you can see the damage will go up even further to about 2486 or sometimes 2445. Again, the minimum changes of numbers because stationary and minions get random buffs randomly for like 20 or 30 damage. So if you were to put 2 gems in, you can see the transition from having 1 gem into 2 gem level, which is 17 to 14%. So to summarize, if you're able to get 1 plus skill level, you're gaining around 13 to 14% damage for your minions, at least in terms of DPS. And there's even more scaling. So in terms of the skeleton arsonist, I actually just now changed it to quality 20. I want to show you guys that this actually scales with a percentage of minions maximum life. So while you're getting higher minion levels, you can also increase the minion's maximum life, which allows arsonists to scale a little better with additional fire damage. So having more gem levels will give you at least around 13% damage or even higher, because arsonist also scales with high HP. So you might be thinking, hey Matt, that's a pretty long explanation. And basically I want to summarize all the data for those of you that want to try to understand and want to help me to build this one in the future. So to summarize, at my current level, with 574 Spirit, if I were to go to 610 Spirit, increasing Spirit by another 36, with lowering 1 level, I'm actually losing damage. No matter what minions I'm summoning, I'm actually losing damage compared to the 13%. So what that means is, this particular amulet with 40 Spirit and also 2 levels is worse than this amulet with 3 levels of minion skills. And that is pretty easy, right? But here's the thing. A lot of you might not have the same amount of Spirit as me. So I have made 3 variations to show you guys. If you're around 250 to 290 Spirit, this means getting additional Spirit means more minions. And because you don't have that many minions, you're actually gaining higher damage for getting more Spirit over getting 1 level of the gems. Now this is a good example. So the next example is, if you have around 350 to 380 Spirit, this kind of breaks even between gaining more Spirit versus gaining more level with minion skill level. So here comes our notes. For those of you that does not want to download Excel or do it dynamically, which I do recommend trying out, because here you can basically input your values. You'd be like, okay, my amount is 360. I'm going to minus my Spirit by 40. Let's see what happens. This is how much damage you lose. Now, what if I increase my Spirit by 20? This is what happens. So this is actually really helpful if you use Excel. But for those of you that does not want to use a calculator, which I made for you guys, make sure you use it. So here are some summarized notes for you to understand for the rule of thumb. Now, before we dive into the notes, I do want to remind you guys, this is a rough estimate using my own levels and also own skills. Once we have Path of Builder for POE 2, which is amazing for calculations and also theory crafting, I'll be checking those and also updating with you guys. So make sure you subscribe for the latest update and also content for a lot of data and also detailed calculations. Because I always do Excels, I do data, I do guides and also builds for any games I play. And if you want to help me in the future of building a better Excel, collecting more data for Path of Exile 2, make sure you contact me directly on Discord by joining our Discord and send me a direct message. I'd love to work with you guys because you can see I can do basic numbers, but to make it more user-friendly and to make it more, appealing, maybe you guys can help me as well. So coming over to the summary notes. So the question is, more spirit or more minion levels? Well, here's a rule of thumb. Before you get to around 300 spirit, it is generally, I cannot spell generally. Oh boy, I do apologize for the typos, guys. So generally, it is better if you're under 300 spirit, you want to get additional spirit compared to getting minion levels. Because if you see in the Excels over here, oh yeah, I was checking how to spell spirit, how to spell general. So if you check the numbers over here, if you have low spirit like this, you gain more damage. So to summarize, if you're below 300 spirit, I would recommend getting more spirit because you get more summons, means you get more damage. Now around 300 to 350 to 400, this is when things get a little tricky. Depending on your build, depending on your buffs, it is kind of break even if you're getting more spirit, around 30 or 40 more spirit, or getting additional skill level. So this is kind of trading off, and both are really good for you around this point. Now do keep in mind, if you're using the Excel and you can see if you're getting only 20 spirit, sometimes it will not mean you get summoning additional minions. So notice you don't get additional arsonists because of the nerfs, right? So if you're getting 30 spirit, you will get more summons. So make sure you use it dynamically to see if you're actually getting more summons or getting 2 more summons. And this will dramatically change the factor because of the spirit reservation are different for each of the units. So to summarize, 350 to 400 or 300, around that spirit, you can consider any of the increasing spirit or increasing levels. And finally, I think after 450 spirit, it is preferable for you to get additional skill level. And you can see that with my own example over here, because my spirits are a little high at the moment with like 570. It is definitely not worth it to go for more spirit at this stage, but rather I want to find as much skill level as I can. This also brings to the next question. Why are those corrupted gems selling so high? Because in the later levels, players have more spirit, like my example, and they are paying over 20 divines for +1 level spirit gems, skill gems. So this one, you can see the arsonists are selling for like 20 Exile or 20 divine, and a comparison, skeleton snipers are selling for 35 divine. I did double check the prices, and those are the cheapest at the moment. So you can see the reasons behind those prices. This is because once you have higher spirit, you gain much higher for having higher skill levels, which is kind of understandable. So that is the summary, guys. Hopefully this helps you to understand. For those of you who want to hear a little more of Matt blubbering, I'll try to keep it short. So I want to talk about the gem threshold. By the looks of it, the gems, once you get to level 25 or 31, if you look at my summary over here, it seems to be a jump of damage. So here getting to 31 means I was getting another 17% bonus damage from 30 to 31. And this is also the case if I go from 24 to 25, looks like around 17% bonus damage. So it is possible. I haven't discovered this fully. I've just been testing myself, So if you guys find out about this, let's find the spirit of the gems level threshold of breakpoint. Those breakpoints can ideally give you higher damage compared to other levels. And this could be interesting because if you're playing a build, oh, if I get to level 31 with my gems, I get a massive damage boost. And this can be really helpful in the future. Now, how do you want to use this guide? The best way is that not only you can use a dynamic Excel to change the values that is provided, and yes guys, if I make a mistake, let me know in the comments. So you can change the values accordingly. You can say, oh, getting more spirit, what happens? But the bigger factor you want to take away is, you want to see if getting 10 more spirit with buying a divine item doesn't mean that you're actually getting 1 more summon. Yes, a lot of us fall into the traps thinking that more spirit is better. But if I'm only getting 360 spirit and I'm paying 1 divine, I will be getting 1 more snipers, but everything else would not go up. So this is something you have to be aware, and again, that's why I made the dynamic Excel for you guys. Similarly, you want to check whether the 3 divine item upgrade for +3 or +5 on the amulets or the weapons for the skill levels, are they worth it? And how you want to check is, you want to check what are the spirit levels you are. And this means you can start to budget and how to improve your character with summoners using those particular guide. Now, hopefully you guys found this video helpful and also the Excel tools helpful. I'll be making tons of those more in the future. And if you like this one, leave a nice comment and also subscribe. Yes, leave a like because it took me a while to do the comparison. I have to count every unit and I have to do calculations, try to find thresholds, try to find breakpoints, and also make sure it's dynamic so it's easy to use for you guys. And let me know in the comments if you have recommendations, suggestions in improving the Excels, or if you find any mistakes, let me know so I can share with the community. We can make the summoners better, no matter if you're playing the Infernalist, the Mercenary, Gemini Legionnaire, or even the Titans. Everyone can benefit from learning the spirit versus the level of the gems. So thank you for watching. I'll see you guys next time.